Welcome back, everybody, to the final match of Day 2 here at the Hearthstone Championship Tour's Winter Championships. My name is Frodan, joined by Brian Kibler. And once again, we have yet another match between China versus the USA, LionKing versus bobbyex. There's only one spot remaining for Day 3's play tomorrow, Kibler, and only one player can go through.
Yeah, so far, China has actually won all 3 of their matches today, 2 in the upper and 1 in the elimination matches we saw just now with Zhai Miao. So LionKing could make it 4-4 for wins in the day, and the Americas region has been struggling a bit.
Yes, to say the least. I think Europe kind of picked up some of the results when they faltered a little bit, but at the same time, what's happening to the Americas outside of Noblord? We'll see. I mean, bobbyex does have a little bit of an uphill climb, considering that he has a Malygos Druid compared to the Even Warlock. This is the difference maker. bobbyex went ahead and banned the Even Warlock. Feels like it's probably a little bit too hard to handle for some of his other decks, which is a little surprising, given that I think Even Warlock is a deck that has actually a lot of vulnerabilities. But perhaps he felt like the Even Warlock text probably from LionKing was probably a little bit too much to handle.
Yeah, LionKing's build does play the Nerubian Unravels. I don't say Weblord. I'm like, no, that's a Nax card. Nax is out, but it's been out for a while. But yeah, that can be a very problematic card, especially with the hero power ability to draw to it that the Even Warlock does have.
Yes, there's Nerubian Unraveler, there's also Mojo Master Z. He combined the two, and it's got a lot of answers to these late-game combo-centric decks like the Malygos Druid, which tries to set up these big mana swing turns, or even the Clone Priest, which is trying to set up these big Zera cloning turns, or perhaps even just go for a Diamond Spellstone setup. Can't really do a lot of that if the Nerubian Unraveler is in the mix. So totally understandable from bobbyex, and at the same time, finally we get to see some of those tech cards pay off. Maybe not necessarily in-game, but just enough to scare their opponents, because if you ignore the tech cards, I mean, there were other better bans on the board here for bobbyex, so I think that's kind of a sore point in this series that's already an uphill climb, even though 3 out of 4 decks are the same.
Yeah, bobbyex does have a very sort of anti-control style lineup, and LionKing has some decks that do, and specific tech choices like you just mentioned, that do target that. So this could be, like you mentioned, those tech choices really paying off. We haven't really seen Unraveler have a chance to shine. It's been actually in a lot of different decks in this particular tournament. I believe Roger had multiple Unravelers in pretty much every deck that support Unraveler, but it hasn't really quite had its chance to shine just yet, because so many of the Unraveler decks have run into the aggro decks, but this could be the chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because both these players brought very similar-ish lineups. They're trying to go over the top of the slow decks. bobbyex choosing to play Malygos Druid, which he said was a comfort pick. He really likes Malygos Druid. Felt that the deck is very underrated, even if the statistics show otherwise. And then LionKing, he said Even Warlock is just a very good deck. It's funny because in contrast to a lot of other people saying, you know what, it's not that great of a deck. At the same time, Even Warlock was what helps get people over the hump even in other series. So I'm looking forward to see who is going to come out on top, and more importantly, can China keep up that momentum? We mentioned it earlier, and several times throughout the Hearthstone Championship Tour, but China has not performed very well. And finally, it's a chance for redemption for another repeat championship appearance for LionKing.
Yep, so many days that we've come to sort of the record by region at the end of the day. It's been, oh, well, China really needs to pick up the slack. China's got their last chance. It's like, well, now, today, we were just talking, China has won all of their matches today. They have 2 of the players who are already through to that top 8. And another who is still in contention, and LionKing here, he is hoping to join his compatriots to make a full 4 of 4 for the first time in HCT history.
Yes, that would be very exciting for a lot of Chinese fans who have long but given up hope for any kind of for performance in the past. But I think the tides are turning, and I think it's finally time. But maybe we'll wait for a little bit, because this is going to be a very fast start here for bobbyex that has Prince Kaliseth and Devilsaur Egg to start things off.
Both these players have fairly strong hands. Devilsaur Egg, LionKing found with it. Tracking does find Kathrena. Doesn't currently have an activator for the egg other than those Carnivorous Cubes, so it'll be a little slow on the uptake here, where Kaliseth comes down, and obviously powerful in any matchup. Kaliseth on turn 2, and there we see the Tar Creeper from LionKing, a little bit more of an anti-aggro tech in his Deathrattle Hunter, which is already fairly anti-control.
Another Devilsaur Egg. This one is buff, though.
And that's a big deal, because it means that the Kaliseth buff giving the +1/+1 does mean this Devilsaur Egg can attack into something and get itself killed. LionKing, though, he'll have none of it. That's a Spellbreaker right off the bat. But that second egg in the hand does mean, especially alongside the Candle Shot, pretty easy clear of the threatening minion, plus another potential minion that can come down and threaten Deathrattle triggers.
Seems good to me. You know, bobbyex is going second, but he's got the ability to react to his opponents right now.
LionKing does have the cube turn, which will give him a lot of stats on the board right away.
Right. This is pretty significant. The cube being able to crack the egg is a really big boon to LionKing.
Crucially, bobbyex has no silence effects in his deck, whereas LionKing had that Spellbreaker. There are no Spellbreakers available to bobbyex, so LionKing knows that he can just commit his Deathrattle minions without any fear of not getting their effect.
Right. I mean, now that these Deathrattle hunters don't really play with Hunter's Mark or anything like that, because they have to contest them with Prince Kel'Seth, you have an opportunity to take your deck in other ways. bobbyex, for example, has Wing Blast. That's like a tech of choice. And then you have other people who choose Spells Breaker, for example, to help answer all those annoying, pesky Deathrattle minions of sort. Ooh. Master Shaw plus to play dead. That is going to be some nice big swings on the board.
And this will let bobbyex take out the 5/5. Is he killing the egg? Okay, yeah. Rather than killing the 5/5, he's going to kill the Carnivorous Cube, which will give LionKing a pair of eggs. He's hoping to prevent a Deathrattle enabler here, I suppose, from giving LionKing 2 more eggs and having that body in play, but he just gave him 2 eggs to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, and if he had like Carnivorous Cube plus playdead, he'd just cube his Devilsaur.
Right. Which seems more powerful.
Yeah. Huh. Well, LionKing. Wow.
It does mean that he keeps the 5/1, which is very relevant.
Right.
He does still have the 5/1 body, and LionKing currently just has a 5/5. So it is giving him something which does contest the board immediately. And LionKing had not yet at least played a Candle Shot, but we do see that it is available to him now. It actually ends up working out pretty well for bobbyex overall, because there's still nothing that's going to kill his Houndmaster Shaw. Right. And an uncontested Houndmaster Shaw can be, absolutely disastrous for the opponent.
That being said, there's not many ways to capitalize. I mean, look at bobbyex's hand. He's got Spider Bomb. That's not what you want to do against
Spider Bomb's pretty awesome, except when your opponent has a pair of eggs in play.
Agreed.
Which is also sort of part of what happened when bobbyex killed his opponent's cube. He gave him those eggs, which does mitigate his Spider Bomb.
All right, well, bobbyex sets up his Deathstalker Rexar so he can start building beasts. Most likely we'll be doing it next turn because Katharina can't come out to turn 8.
And now LionKing has his chance to kind of try and take over this board here. Can kill the Houndmaster Shaw, and then potentially he could just play this Witchwood Grizzly. And if the Witchwood Grizzly survives, he has cube into play dead, though that is his Katharina turn.
Right. You could also Katharina the beast out, and then say it's like a charged Devilsaur or a King Crush. You can cube and play to the King Crush for lethal a lot of times.
That's several turns ahead.
I mean, that's actually a legitimate win condition.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying it's not. But I'm saying, like, what okay, what is LionKing looking at the next couple of turns? And he wants to try to
I like it.
To establish a fairly sizable board presence, because he does need to end this game. The inevitability is typically on the side of the player with Rexar, though it's not necessarily as powerful in this sort of matchup as it is against, say, a control deck, because there are such huge board swings like Carnivorous Cube playdead.
Well, looks like bobbyex had the Hunting Mastiff and the Timberwolf. This is LionKing's opportunity to go big. Now Katharina can hit the board, and as long as whatever gets pulled out survives as a charge minion. Ooh. Well, it's a rush minion, still solid, but not what he was looking for. If he had pulled King Crush, I mean, that could be the game-ending push at that point. And now it's bobbyeX's turn.
One good Katharina deserves another.
There's Charged Devilsaur, there's King Crush. There's Witchwood Grizzly.
King Crush is in his hand.
Oh, you're right. I was reading his deck list. There's Witchwood Grizzlies as well.
Charged Devil Sword. Okay, well, but with the Charged Devil Sword and the Caliseth buff, plus the Candle Shot, he can take down the 9 health. It's a huge army from bobbyex here. Another Playdead and the Cube for LionKing. He does still have that. He does still have King Crush in his deck.
Wow, he just drew Houndmaster Shaw as well. So there's actually some really funny plays you can do with Katharina and Cube and Houndmaster Shaw all in unison.
If he trades Katharina hits, did he tracking pass his King Crush? He did tracking early game, and I think that I did not keep perfect track. But if he does Katharina into King Crush, Cube plus Playdead is lethal. And it is Witchwood Grizzly. So no lethal there from LionKing. Yeah, he did in fact track past King Crush. That's what I had thought had happened, but was not 100% sure.
Ravelers in every deck here for LionKing, but
yeah, not great here though.
Ziliax and Spider Bomb. Spider Bomb's pretty good with Houndmaster Shot and Playdead. Chooses instead to go for the Ziliax.
Yeah, he's trying to just set up a defensive position here.
Right, afraid to die.
He's like, okay, well, you got all these gigantic things. I will at least defend myself. And, you know, with Houndmaster Shaw in his hand. Ooh. And that is the cube, if you have forgotten, is on the egg itself, right?
Yes.
So there's no, I don't believe there is a mossy horror, so there's no way to take advantage of having a bunch of eggs in play. But you know, there is that Katharina, of course, which can potentially get another beast out of the deck. There's not that many beasts left, though.
Right.
I believe there's just a Witchwood Grizzly remaining. So actually, triggering his Deathrattle is, you know, multiple times won't do anything. It's just the first one that will actually have any effect.
Right. LionKing doesn't know that the King Crush is in hand right now.
Right.
But he has to anticipate it. bobbyex has the zombies that has the ability to rush and give +1 attack. If you play 3 of them, if you play 3 of them, you actually will end up killing, right? You'll end up killing the Witchwood Grizzly as well. So you'll come out ahead on board.
He's going to track it up, finds a cube.
Okay, okay. And then he's going to cube the Devilsaur Egg. This is dangerously approaching a board where
all eggs.
bobbyex might have all eggs. He has to be careful because I have seen that happen one time on Tespa.
Read him and weep.
Where they just kept cubing their eggs and got a little gung-ho about summoning Devilsaur eggs, and then they just had 0-3s that they couldn't summon a board, so they just lost.
Yeah, I've definitely had that happen to me. I actually had it happen when I was playing like Deathrattle Priest or whatever, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to cube this and cube. Oh, wait.
Right.
What have I done?
And your opponent's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, well, LionKing, the Unraveler, not something he's excited about here, but he does have a lot of options with Shaw, Ziliax. He cannot get his, well, actually he can. He can get his cube killed, which would be attacking into the Katharina.
Yeah, he's still very afraid of what's in the box.
With the Houndmaster Shaw, though, okay, he's going to Houndmaster Shaw and play the Unraveler, start cleaning things up with that. Okay, all right.
Guy makes spells more difficult to play, but it's not like bobbyex has many spells anyways, or any.
Well, here come the Timberwolves. It's a wolf party.
Right, these are all pretty juiced up. Has the ability to clear off most of these boards.
Yeah. Getting very, very seriously rewarded with his previous selection of Rexar from turns ago. Wants to take out the... I think
summons Grizzlies, though.
It does. I think that the argument is, okay, I don't want to give you some value from playing a Deathrattle Enabler, but it does give LionKing, you know, real board that can attack right now, which you know, otherwise he would not have. And he does have already 2 of the eggs on board, which give him some value, and he also chose to play Nerubian Unravel last turn rather than some sort of Deathrattle enabler, which would have given it him 2 Grizzlies. So I think you can pretty well assume that he doesn't have one unless he draws it this turn.
Well, Ziliax is LionKing's best remaining minion here because he can't do anything with that Depth Core egg that's sitting in hand. I mean, bobbyex is taking kind of a beat down.
Yeah, he's down to 8. LionKing's at 30 now. There's more eggs. And this Katharina, I think the jig is up. I think everyone knows this Katharina doesn't have anything powerful behind it. There is that 1 Grizzly remaining.
No, doesn't look
Another
like
Mastiff. I don't know what was actually in the first half. Oh, it's Angry Chicken.
Okay, sure.
All right. Well, can make a couple of chickens. Got a Wing Blast.
Right.
I don't really see it. There's not really a way. I mean, if he does have another Grizzly left in this, which I think he might not, he may have also tracked past it earlier, which may be why this has just kind of spent its entire life not getting its Deathrattle activated. But even if there's a Grizzly, things are not looking good for bobbyex.
Well, the Grizzly will at least help keep him alive for a little bit.
Yes, he's not dead, but there's no Grizzly.
You're right.
Yeah, he can't take out enough off this board. He can kill 1 minion, but then just the hero power would end the game, and bobbyex concedes.
Wow.
So the Deathrattle Hunter mirror does go in the way of LionKing.
This is really good for LionKing already. He was favored from the get-go, but now taking the mirror, the even matchups, that's even worse news for bobbyex. And the march of China continues as LionKing able to win the Deathrattle Hunter mirror, and already he has a leg up because he forced the even Warlock ban out of bobbyex.
Yeah, this is definitely looking very good for LionKing. He is following the footsteps of his compatriots so far. As we mentioned a number of times, every Chinese player has so far been victorious, and LionKing is that 1 game closer.
All right, well, that's just game 1 in this best of 5. When we come back, we're going to find out if LionKing can continue the momentum that his other fellow countrymen have started.
Hi, I'm bobbyex. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I don't feel very pressured by the fact that I'm the only Canadian. I'm kind of more pressured by the fact that a lot of people I know, friends, have voted me for PAX. So that's a bit more of where the pressure comes from.
May this be a lesson for all those people playing even Warlock out there. Be careful.
I'm definitely less experienced than a lot of the other competitors. There's quite a few competitors that have already qualified for Worlds, or this is their 2nd championship, not even ever, just like this year. I can compensate that if I just play well, if I just stay focused to the best of my ability. My level of play is at the point where I can compete at the top. There's probably going to be a little bit of luck involved, I'm not going to lie.
That man knew what he wanted, and it was a spot at the Winter Championships.
I remember at the start of the year when I decided to start competing, it was just really cool to watch Killing All Day make it to Worlds. And it's the coolest thing to be where he was now 8 months ago, because 8 months ago, I never would have thought I'd be in this position. So this shows me how far I've progressed in my competitive Hearthstone career, although it's relatively new. Thanks for all the support you've given me. I couldn't have gotten this far. I'll try my best to get you packs. Hopefully I don't get you 1 pack, but it'll at least be fun to meme about it if I do get 1 pack.
风格还是没有什么太大变化的，并没有速度上的太大的转变。我用的卡组仍然还是一些偏慢速的卡组，比如类似于 Deathrattle 的那种控制类型的卡组，是比较我能针对得到的卡组。这次我带的卡组在环境中还是比较普遍的几套卡组。我觉得有一套卡组特别强，叫做元素萨。但是因为刚出来几天，我也没有来得及练习那套牌，所以也没带。一看可能就是牧师吧，其他的我感觉都还不错。我想要把牧师换成那套元素萨，这套牧师是比较合适于打控制套牌，但是这次的环境控制套牌比较少，那么这套牧师在打项武 跟我自己同样的 line up 的时候，也不具备特别大的优势。但是，然后同时打快攻也不是特别的好打，所以呢，我比较想换成就是环境中更合适的元素萨，比如任务贼中带了一张闷棍。之前是很少有人带闷棍的，不过我们这个小组的人都想到了这一点，但是其他小组的任务贼并没有想到这一点。这个巧合，我觉着还比较 interesting。最难取胜的就是 Bonnie Hopper 和类似于 Bonnie Hopper 的快攻 line-up， 所以我觉得我如果战胜 Bonnie Hopper 进入4强以及夺得冠军都是非常容易的。
LionKing currently up 1-0 over bobbyex. And bobbyex needs a little bit of help here. Diving more into the data during the break. LionKing being able to get a pretty significant edge, 6-4, is his win ratio, or his average win rate against bobbyeX's lineup, and it improved actually after the ban. So this is not looking good for bobbyex here. I'm starting to sweat for him.
Yeah, he's definitely in a rough spot, especially being down that game. His Deathrattle Hunter is still, okay against at least the Cloning Gallery Priest. You have some game there, but it really does struggle to get out enough aggression to take down the Quest Rogue, so it could really have some trouble picking up a win.
All right, let's go into game number 2. We have Quest Rogue going up against Malygos Druid. The thing about Malygos Druid is that every time I sleep on this deck, it still continues to surprise me with how bursty it is. But, more importantly, it's just that even though it's a turn slower, it still ultimately has the same game plan against slower decks. That being said, it's still not a good matchup against Quest Rogue.
Right.
Because Quest Rogue is, because you give them an extra turn, that means they can play a little greedier, which means they have another turn to set up their stuff, and they're not afraid of dying.
Yeah, this was always a matchup that could kind of go either way, but the Quest Rogue deck did typically have a bit of an edge, and that is only increased with the nerfs to Malygos Druid. And right now, look at bobbyeX's hand. He doesn't really have the key tools. He doesn't have Twig of the World Tree. He doesn't have Wild Growth. He has double Spreading Plague against an opponent who's only really looking to play minions, that are going to be pretty huge. Hero power, hero power, hero power. That is not the way to win as Malfurion.
Yeah, he plays Face Druid, which is hero power, and go face. And I'll just look at his hand. 6 out of 7 cards that he's holding, all have been impacted in some way or another. Innervate, Spreading Plague, Nourish, all got nerfed, and Naturalize got down to the Hall of Fame. It's like, jeez, man. Druid just has like...
I mean, it's not a coincidence. It's not like, man, unlucky Druid. They're losing all these powerful cards. Like, well, they had all these powerful cards. It's true, they did. You still get Moonfire, man. You still get Moonfire.
For now. Just you. LionKing has 3 out of the 5 with the bounce on the South Sea deckhand. Has the Vanish as well. Sonya lined up. I guess Sonya isn't going to be useful if your opponent never plays minions.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how Sonya is like kind of the key card for Quest Rogue against so many different matchups, and yet here, all right, it's just going to kind of rot in your hand because I'm never going to play anything until I have something gigantic.
Yeah, if you're LionKing here, you don't even have to necessarily do much. I guess you could dump if you're afraid of your opponent trying to overdraw you, but there's not even anything that's super bad of dumping outside of Valir the Hollow, I'd say.
It's not like your opponent can overdraw your quest. Starting play.
True that.
Yep. LionKing just going to sit back.
And that's actually really good for bobbyeX too now, because he has some flexibility. He can, for example, just draw cards and take it really slow now. I wonder if this ends up, because of the pan out, ends up favoring bobbyeX because LionKing doesn't have to do anything defensive, and all he has really is defensive cards. Except for his South Sea deckhand.
He's just going to go ahead and fire off that Naturalize.
Wow. still going to burn like a fourth card like Valera.
Too full.
So the axe is not that important. Oh, okay. The second copy of Saucy Deckhand makes it a little more annoying for LionKing to land that. Just a little bit, you know? Now LionKing's one turn, perhaps, you know, away from the quest. So tit for tat.
I wonder if it would have been better for bobbyex to save that for like potentially needing to punch through something post-quest. It's always like, okay, I'm going to burn a couple of your cards, but realistically, outside of a fatigue matchup, if you burn cards from an opponent, you might as well consider them to have been at the bottom of the deck because they're random order. So unless you really expect the game to go to fatigue, you know, like for instance, if this Alexstrasza sticks, you have Naturalize to get through Wax Elemental.
That's right. And then you could have just double swiped the way home. But that's assuming that your opponent doesn't just freeze it, doesn't vanish it, doesn't kill it off with Sonya. But you're right. Like, it does give yourself a possible way to win.
Speaking of Sonya, playing this Alexstrasza has now given LionKing what he needs to actually start this quest completion. You know, Sonya here, he can attack in with the Scale Hide, attack, play a bunch of Scale Hides, and he has quest complete.
Quest is completed, guaranteed. Does he kill the minion? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he should be able to. Unless I miss guy. But he should be fine. Yeah, if you just trade every minion, toss in the ground. You can even toss in the other Saucy Deckhand that has 2 attack, I believe, because one of them has one of them is a 1/1.
Right.
Oh my.
What's happening? He does not want to use a coin?
Well, he has the quest completed with the 2 Saucy Deckhands.
Right, so
He just plays them.
Okay.
I was not anticipating a sap in that spot.
It's kind of interesting because it does mean that you know, he does retain a lot of his board.
Right.
And the sap is going to be pretty poor in, you know, pretty much any other situation.
Oh, is it a lethal setup? Let me see. So you would no, because then
I believe this was he was a 1/2, assuming nothing dies. But
20.
I believe he is threatening lethal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 chargers from hand.
Yeah.
So 16.
So 7. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be
28.
lethal.
It would be 28. 28 damage plus the attack with the deck would be 29. But you know, that's assuming Bobby doesn't remove anything. That's assuming he doesn't gain any life, or even just this plays like Spreading Plague, for example. Very optimistic, but you never know.
Time waits for no one.
Bobbyex going for the burn card plan. It seems like
What
it
is he
based
trying
off
to
his
burn?
setup. Okay, swipe, Spellstone, trying to remove the board, knows that the quest is complete. I mean, I don't think he's, maybe... See, the only way you can get someone to burn the quest is if they play like Novice Engineer.
Right. It has to be pretty much exactly a Novice Engineer. There's some sort of card draw effect that they're doing with the quest. But LionKing, that is Crystal Core Online.
Yep, 12 damage right upstairs. Novice Engineer set it up. Valir the following turn. No twig in sight.
He also has the Vanish Shadow Step as well. So even if Spreading Plague comes out, I'm actually a little surprised he didn't play. Maybe he's not playing the boar out of. Doesn't want all of his. I guess how do these die? Like because
Spreading Plague.
If he had played the boar, then next turn he plays he attacks the opponent for another 4 damage, would be 15. He has Vanish, and then he can play 4 guys and kill him. Right? Am I missing something?
Hold on, let's count.
Because if he instead of Novice Engineer, last turn he played Stone Test Boar, attacking for 4 more damage.
Right.
This turn with 10 mana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
you vanish coin, play 4 chargers, attack you for lethal.
Yes. You are correct.
I'm trying to figure out why you wouldn't do that.
No, Spreading Plague would be the same thing.
Right.
I guess if they
just
gained
vanish
armor,
the Spreading Plague anyway.
They just used Branching Paths, and they're holding like 8 cards, so the UI is kind of difficult.
Do you have enough you have enough room in your hand? Is it possible that like? Yeah, I mean it's the same thing as happening this turn. You have one fewer card because you have the novice engineer.
Right.
So yeah, it all works out, and this would just be lethal attack. But it's, I mean, it's still very close.
Right. It would have been lethal.
Right. It would have been lethal if he'd taken 4 more damage.
It's not anymore.
Right.
And in some way, in a way, by vanishing, he actually increased bobbyex defensive flank, because now he can spreading plague again and play the other 2 scares.
Right, and he does not have a second vanish here to push
Right.
the damage through. So
Yeah, it's a little unusual. Not gonna lie, but bobbyex is still in a bad spot.
oh, I'm not suggesting that you know it looks like LionKing is losing this game from this position, especially with that scale high and Lyra in hand.
Yeah, these are just minor inconveniences, if anything.
I hope you like my invention.
Preparation doesn't do too much, just allows him to roll a free Mimic Pod. Okay. Well, if there was just like a feint of knives, everything will look really nice
Yeah.
and clean, but this is just very annoying to deal with now. Huh, I wonder if LionKing should have just been okay with playing Valera, because if I were him, I'd be slightly afraid of a second branching pass in this spot to potentially, like, blow me out.
Is there really a blowout though?
If he had naturalized a branching pass, yeah.
It'll be 9.
It'd be 9, well, yeah, that's true. You naturalize branching pass and then, like, swipe or something like that, but I guess it's not as big of a deal as I thought it would be at first glance. I'm always just really afraid of leading up so many tokens to the Druid.
I'm never happy about it. There's Lich King. That's not really a relevant card at this stage.
It's not relevant, but it's his best answer to potentially getting Doom Pact or something of the sort.
True.
However, he still hasn't found a way out of this game. Like, Lich King just stalled the inevitable. I mean, he might be in the position where he might have to naturalize again. Like, say, naturalize the lifesteal minion? Pass over. And of course, I believe Vanish should end this game. Does he even have lethal right here, right now?
I don't think so. Not through all these.
I mean, he has Zola and 2 Shadow Steps and a youthful.
Actually, there might be.
It feels
Just
likely.
Like attack, you know, trade in a couple guys. Oh, I think actually, yeah, between the double Shadow Step
should,
Brewmaster,
yeah.
I believe there is in fact.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
should be. All right, LionKing is going to be able to very quickly go up to a 2-0 lead.
Which is like a lot of extra damage now,
Yeah.
now that I'm really looking at it
Very
closely.
much so.
With the Zola Brewmaster and 2 Shadow Steps, he is well beyond lethal.
Yeah.
And you know, that game felt like both players made some strange decisions to me. But in the end, the Crystal Core gets the job done, and LionKing goes up to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I think this is an example of why Quest Rogue is still worthy of being banned and something to consider, even despite the fact that even Warlock is a very difficult deck to do with all that tech. I think I'd rather take my chances with that, because I at least have a naturalized to answer the Mountain Giant. You don't really have a naturalized to deal with like 5 4/4s. It just doesn't really help enough.
Yeah, and you know, looking back too, he used that naturalize pretty early on, and granted, it was a turn that he had 10 cards, and you know, would have otherwise had to play something to little effect potentially, but just to burn a couple cards. And you know, I don't think that naturalize
Right.
necessarily would have been the difference maker later on, but you know, there are situations where that kind of swing can be what you need to break that kind of game open.
All right, that's a 2-0 lead for LionKing. Only needs one more to survive number 3, and also deliver yet another fat L for the Americas. We'll find out what happens when we return to the HCT.
So generally for my decks, I just tried to bring what I thought were very strong decks to the field. I think I played it a little bit too safe. Maybe I should have taken a bit more risk. It's a combo lineup, but I have some aggro techs. So I think Quest Rogue is overall the strongest deck I've had. It's a much slower format than what we typically have, and when you give Quest Rogue enough time, it has a very strong inevitability. I'm kind of known in Vancouver for being a very good and very avid Quest Rogue player. Quest Rogue has a lot of what I like in Hearthstone. Some of the turns are very straightforward, but there are some very complex turns, and there's very intricate overall strategy in a matchup. It's very cool because it's very dynamic and your game plan changes. It's very skill testing, but at the same time, it's very comforting to play for me.
我是 GoeLionKing，来自中国山东济南。因为我是狮子座，所以就取了这个名字。我反正不喜欢咬人，但是我在比赛和游戏里还是比较激进和比较勇敢的。
获得2018黄金总决赛炉石传说项目的总冠军。
我自己独特的风格和一些独特的构筑的上的能力，然后以及很多别人不敢去想的想法，然后我都敢于去想，敢于去尝试，不会顾及一些特别多的后果。可能就是会惧怕我这个，时不时冒出来的独特的想法和一个无所畏惧的一颗心。我的风格还是比较独树一帜的。自从去年我的风格在各种比赛上验证了它的胜率还是不错的之后，我就几乎一直沿用这种风格。首先，我肯定是特别希望我自己能晋级4强的。然后呢，就是我的好朋友菜喵，他的 line up 在他的小组也非常的有优势。然后就是 Bloody Face 吧，我特别喜欢他的排组的风格，还有 No Blood， 他跟 Bloody Face 是一起练排的，他们的排组的风格都相差不多。单独练习就是只有30%的时间。然后跟队友练习大概有70%的时间，像是小 T 啊、菜喵，我跟他们就是平时练习和比赛中也经常会碰到他们，然后在他们的帮助下也更加的验证了这种风格是适合比赛用的。我一定会夺得最后的冠军的。
LionKing currently up 2-0 and getting one step closer to fulfilling that prophecy that he made at the end of that video that he's going to win it all. And he has to start from ground zero because technically he's at 0-1. If he loses here, he is out of the event. And remember, this is the last event of the season. So,
yep.
You know, for many of them, this is the final chance to get to the World Championships as well.
Yeah, maybe the beginning of 2019, but we are finishing out the 2018 season with the World Championship coming up in just a few months.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the last opportunity for any player to qualify for that event. And so far, only Xiaoti from China is qualified from that region. However, as we've been saying, China has been doing incredibly well so far in this event, with 2 players already booked to the quarterfinals, another win today, and LionKing looking to make it 4-0 for China on this winners and elimination day.
Well, we'll go to another mirror in this best of 5, and maybe it gives you an indication of what both these players had to struggle with going into their first matches, right? They both got kind of smorked down and wasn't exactly very close. And now they brought similar lineups, and now we'll have to see who gets the edge in this Clone Priest mirror, which I will say tends to get pretty clowny at times.
It can be some crazy things that happen in these games, and it's not quite a mirror match because LionKing is playing the lower minion version. He actually even only plays a single copy of Eternal Servitude. He said this is actually a fairly common build in China because they don't have as many minions to potentially use early Servitudes on. They just want to focus on the spell stones and have a bit more utility from the other spells in the deck. Well, you can see Spellstone, or rather Shadow Visions into Spellstone, Shadow Visions, and Shield. Getting your Spellstones kind of fired up can be a good use of your early Shadow Visions. However, without a spellstone already in hand, yeah, he may just want to dig and try and find Shadow Essence to get things into his res pool. Yeah, finds a 2-for-1 deal. Got that powered shield and found a spellstone
anyways. Yep. Well, bobbyex doesn't really have that much going on right now himself. No Shadow Essence to build towards either. That's kind of the pulp of the coins that you have.
Ooh, and there's a Shadow Essence for LionKing.
That's big.
And gets a Malagos.
It's very big.
Again, though, he does not have a way to really protect this Malagos.
Right.
Or really necessarily to utilize. Oh my God!
Oh.
I said he didn't have any real way to. He can. If he Vivid Nightmares Malagos,
It's a 12 damage Holy Smite.
12 damage Holy Smite. Holy Smite face Shadow Word your guy, attack you for no, that's not really gonna cut it.
It's probably just a pain attack.
I mean, pain gets you is still pretty powerful here. One key thing is that bobbyex does not want to kill Malagos because he doesn't want Malagos to be in the resurrection pool.
Right.
He's hoping to Psychic Scream it. He doesn't have a Psychic Scream yet, and picks up a Mind Blast. So he's got a bunch of burn.
He's going for the Lich
Double
King.
coin Lich King.
Holy Smite does 14 now with the Prophet Veil.
He can't Prophet Veil into Holy Smite, yes.
He doesn't know
If
the
he
Holy
draws-
Smite's game. Okay.
That's just game!
GG. LionKing is going to steamroll bobbyex.
Wow! All right, that's going to be another Malagos, a 2 smites to the face. We said that could be Clowny. That was Clowny in a certain way.
What the heck?
As LionKing completes the sweep for himself and completes the 4-0 sweep of the day for players from China.
Ouch.
That was not how I was expecting that game to go. Like, all right,
What the
I'm
heck?
Mist of Magic. Me too.
I guess both the players agreed that we were a little bit behind schedule, so we're like, you know what, let's just wrap this one up.
That was the control mid-range combo mirror, and it was
Right.
just like that game was 6 turns.
We were like, yeah, this might be our longest match of the day because, there's a lot of slow combo stuff. Maybe it gets really deep. Maybe you have to part ways with the combo. You have to win in suboptimal ways. But that was just, a straight up like 6 pool, and he was just going, command center first. StarCraft reference. He just got,
I don't.
he just got completely destroyed.
That I get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got riggedy wrecked. Let's head over to LionKing. He's waiting with TJ for a few words on his victory.
Thanks very much, guys. And I think the first question I'm going to ask is, have you ever ended a game that fast with that priest deck?
就是你之前有用这套牧师这么快的结束战斗吗？
有过，但是很少。
I did, but very rare in rare case.
Very rare case, very rare case. Well, with your victory, that means that all 4 of the Chinese players are still alive in the tournament even after the elimination matches. Does that give you confidence moving forward for yourself and also for your region?
就是在你取胜之后，这意味着咱们4位中国选手，就目前即使是在今天淘汰赛结束之后，都是暂时安全的。然后这给你更大的信心，朝胜利走向接下去的胜利吗？
非常有信心。
Yes, I'm pretty confident.
Is there any player that you're worried about as you move on to the decider matches tomorrow and then in the quarterfinals? This is the last chance to qualify for Worlds. Who do you think could stop you at this point?
就明天的败决，你有哪些选手是特别不想遇到的吗？就是可能会对你有一些压力。
败决不是已经确定了是罗杰了吗？
哦，
对，所以
就是之后的比赛。
之后的比赛8进4也确定了，然后他们的牌组，我觉着对于我来说都还可以，我都比较有信心。
I think my lineup is pretty favorable against most of the opponents I'm going to face up against, so I'm very confident.
All right, well, I got still a little bit of ways to go with 2 more matches left to try and qualify for the World Championship. But congratulations again on your win, and good luck in your matches over the next couple of days. But that's it for me on the stage. Congratulations to LionKing, but back over to the boys on the desk.